Okay, thanks a lot, Rahul, but a little correction. I was acting head when... So, now that I hope I have a head, I can talk. Good afternoon to everybody. Now, what's the definition of a professor? Anybody wants to try the hand? Yeah? Who boss people? No, yeah. In fact, you are right. A professor by definition is someone who speaks in other people's sleep. So, we talk while you slumber. And that is precisely why I have opted, because I was making the schedules, for this post-lunch session on day 2, so that 90% are asleep, and the remaining 10%, brilliant. It also shows that we can put you to sleep and make you laugh at the same time, so you can talk in your sleep as I'm myself talking in my sleep. Anyway, now that I don't have too much time, I better come back to seriousness. Otherwise, there's a bakwas limit is not there. खाने के बाद मखवास और उसके बाद बकवास. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 fields, not one, in the next few minutes. So the talk is being divided into 2 parts. One is teaching as a career, and the second is research as a career. In fact, it's even possible to marry the 2, because I've done teaching and research, and that's why I've not married myself. Now, first about teaching. Teaching as a career, why did I choose it? Why do people choose it? How rewarding is it? Will it actually make sense for a VI person to take up teaching? These are just some of the questions I'm going to address. First and foremost, what do you need to become a teacher? You can teach right from the school level right up to the university level. If you have to teach at the school level, what you need is the basic, if you're teaching at senior school level, you need a B.Ed. If you're teaching below that, you could need other qualifications. There are special courses if you want to become a special educator. But there are people who have done the B.Ed, though not too many. In fact, there are lots of persons who are college lecturers, professors. And how does one become that? You need a minimum qualification, that's a master's, with at least a high second class. That's 55 or 56% and upwards. And one of the major requirements today is a NET or SET qualification. You know what is NET? Anybody knows? National? NET, but you know what a NET is? You get caught, no? Jali. So, they want to see how many people can be caught. Kitne bakre milte hain. But they don't want to get too many bakras. So, lots of people who give the NET exam, that's the National Eligibility Test, flunk it. It's not an easy test, but it's not a difficult test also. I've known people who passed it, I've known people who failed it. What does that allow you to do? If you are in the top ranking, lot of the persons who have done NET, you are eligible to get a JRF, that's a Junior Research Fellowship of the UGC, which can help you do a PhD. If you have done the SET, you are only eligible to teach in the state where you do the SET exam. So if you do it in Maharashtra, you are only eligible to teach that subject in Maharashtra. Okay? It's relatively easier than NET. state eligibility test. Now, if you do not clear both these, will you get a job as a college teacher? There is a ruling which says that if you're doing your MPhil or PhD, net set is not required, but that has been contested and that's now a stay order. Kanchan talked about law, no? Stay orders mean that it's on hold. So basically, I would say if anybody wants to become a college teacher, aim at doing the net or set and clearing it. Don't wait for the government's mercy. How taxing is a job of a teacher? Well, I'm growing half bald. But I do not know whether if I was doing anything else, I would have been totally bald. Every job has its demands. Every job has its pleasures. Every job has its difficulties. When I came into this college 20 years ago, one of the first things the interview panel asked me was, yes, you've got a brilliant academic record, but brilliant students are never good teachers. So what if you came first in your MA? So what if you had a very high rank in your BA? I said, look, I have never taught. But if I could fool the examiners, I can also fool students. Well, I never told them that, others I would have never got the job. Basically, they said, okay, since you are a Xavierite, we will do one thing. We will make you do a mock class. Imagine. I had two choices. I either could tell them, just as anybody else, you put me in the normal class and take me on probation, or I'm not doing the mock class. Well, as VIs, we have to make certain adjustments, very honestly. So, I'm telling you what they did. They gave me a time, they said, okay, are you prepared for a mock class now? I said, okay. So, I was outside 01. Any student, it was a vacation period, who had come into college for just faltu kiri ke liye, was told, chalo, come in for half an hour. So, yahan wahan se koi bakra bakri mil gaye, and they were made to sit down. And then I had to take a class. Imagine, heterogeneous batch of people. Anyway, I thank the Lord that I had that class. Because at the end of it all, they said, oh, we are offering you the job. And college has been honestly very supportive. If we know how to deal with people, people will deal with us in the right way. How many VI teachers are there in colleges all over India? Lots. In Mumbai alone, I think there are 5-7 people. In Pune, there's somebody who heads the Pali department and maybe others. In Delhi, there are lots. In the northern India, there are lots. What are the problems I face? Well, to be honest, the problems that any other teacher would face. If some student goes to sleep in class, if some student decides to, wait, others were dead before that. If some students decide to, fix their day through an SMS in class. If the Rajdhani food had not come and they are feeling hungry with some khana in class. Now, all this happens in every class, whether you are VI as a teacher or not. Okay? But if it happens in a class by a VI teacher and somebody sees it, they say, "Arey, in log so rahe the, wo bechara dekh nahi sakta isliye." Okay? Which means you have to be not alert, but extra alert. Even then, people will slip through. I'll just give you a little example. 2 weeks back, I contributed 500 rupees to the college kitty. 5 people with cell phones. So college should give me a cut, no? You have to be extra alert. You have to move around in class. If you stand on that platform, Hayo or Beno, then, well, nothing is going to happen. You need to be mobile. There are some of my students in this class who will testify that I am afflicted by itching heel disease. Itching heel disease. That means my heels itch if I'm in the same place. So, why do I move around? Anybody can tell me? Yes? Yeah?
I was a student, so I know very well when you move around, you know in which section what is going on. Plus, when somebody is talking on this side, and when you go that side, they will suddenly keep quiet. Or
it facilitates class control. Okay.
And plus, always people are alert because they know you can catch just like that.
And they would testify that I sometimes randomly ask questions. I walk up to any table and say, okay, tell me what did I say last? Can you clarify?
Yeah, that's a real big problem for us.
And I've had people having to, okay, you were not paying attention. You were physically, mentally not there. I think I need to mark you absent. And I do that. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know that you actually have caught quite a lot of people. I was also one among those. Okay, many times, rather most of the times. Okay, but I wanted to understand, and definitely I would like to know the Ras ki baat here for all our benefits. Now when you are talking about if someone is kind of playing with a SMS or a mobile or maybe like here and there, we can definitely find out those kind of things through our voice sensitizations or whatever. Now my question to you is that I have seen during your class people used to pass around the cheats, right, which does not have any particular voice. Okay, in fact, I still remember I was talking to a friend of mine from my group and who was remembering especially Sam Taraporwala because she is the person who was been caught again and again by Sam Taraporwala. So now you could understand what she was talking about. Okay, and she used to always get caught because she used to play with her friends through the actions, through the fingering signs. Now I don't understand, one, as a VI teacher, how you could do that. Number one, I have also heard that by walking around in the class, you actually also happens to lose your attention. You also happen to lose your attraction from the audience perspective. So how much that we need to walk? When we are talking about walking, should I start running? Would that have impact? If not, okay, what? Yeah.
I'll answer both those questions because we need to handle sessions very fast. So don't keep long questions, please. Okay. To answer. Okay. Now, I'll answer the basic question. The basic point being, I do not say that even today people don't fool around in my class. They do. I know that for a fact. Sometimes I have no evidence, so I cannot catch them. Okay. But it happens in every class. Now, how do you catch them? You need to become street smart. Over the years, you become chalu. As I tell some of the students, if you are 420, मैं 840. So that's the point. And about moving, Rajesh, I'm not saying run. Move around, be very random so nobody knows where you will land up next. And in psychology, there is something called stimulus variation. I do agree that moving right around the class is not too much of too much of a variation, but it's good so that nobody gets locked onto one thing. Oh, next minute I'm here, next minute I'm there. Okay, that's one point. I need to go very fast because I'm doing two things in one, and then Neha will talk about psychology. The next point I need to talk about is, what about the other problems? Well, corrections becomes an issue. You definitely need human help to read. There's no OCR which reads handwriting. That's a human factor which you need to sort out. What about preparations? Today, computers can do a lot and organize material. You also have a lot of human assistants which you could get in any college who can also read for you. So that's not an issue. I have been at the forefront of a lot of research projects in our department. And in fact, There was one international research project for Brown University which we spearheaded. In fact, I was the project director for that. And we've done 3 other major research projects. So I'll talk about that in a moment. What about the salaries of teachers? I'm being very blunt. I can tell you today, my students earn more than what I am earning within 2 years of working. Yes, there are reasons, and I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty. But if you're a starting person, if you have net set and you're on a full clear vacancy, you will start at 20,000 all told, basic 8,000 and then adding up to about 20,000. If you are not net set and they keep you on a contract basis, you will start with a flat 8,000 rupees. Okay? Technically we are debarred. There are people who do it and I don't choose to do it. Okay? Anyway, legally there is a ban, but it is observed more in its breach, and I would not recommend that to be followed by any of our students here, because things can be done with values. You're free to pick up research projects. I was paid in all the research projects except for one which I did just for because it was the first project. The rest of the projects I've earned money. Okay, so you can earn money through research and teaching at the same time. If you want to grow, it's good to write. Frankly, I haven't written journal articles because I've caught up myself with so many other activities. I never sat down to writing, but it is a definite option. Okay, now I'm taking up research. What about research? What is exciting about research? I'm going to ask you all a very simple question. All of you are sitting here, last 1.5 days. At the end of the 2 days, there's something I will want to know. Yes, that's one example of feedback. What did the group feel about this experience? And there are millions of questions. If you give me an option, I would quit everything if I'm getting a good salary and just do research of my choice. In fact, I am very disappointed that I finished my PhD before joining. You know why? Because the UGC has a brilliant scheme where they give you 2 years paid holiday, full salary, to go and do your PhD. So that's another option for you. Okay? 2 years. I've known people who've taken it. And I asked them, can I go and do a second PhD? Unfortunate answer, no. I said, I love doing research. Go do research. Take leave without pay. Now, where and how can you do research? You can do research as an academician in terms of picking up any topic, getting a funding agency to fund you and do the research. Or you could be part of a whole range of research organizations, either NGOs or market research firms. Scope is immense. Market research firms pay really well. What do you need to do? You need to conceptualize a research problem. What is to be researched? Or if a client comes to you, you need to know exactly how the problem needs to be handled. I give you a simple example of a research project. Have you heard of a product called Pan Parag? Sing the song. हाँ अच्छा 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 सुन लिया Now, you know, they came out, they used to come out in those big dabbas. Okay. Then they came out with those sachets, you know, small packets. The sale of that product was brilliant. Suddenly, within 1 month, the sales dropped. So Pan Parag said the product is good, sales were good. What happened? So they went to a research firm. I'm just giving a simple example. There was no VI involved in this. So this is VI neutral. And they said, what is wrong? So they started doing research. They went and caught all the Pan Parag consumers. Not all. There's a sampling method. You choose how many people to evaluate. And they got one answer. You know what the answer was? Because those sachets, once open, had to be consumed, people said, no, humko thoda pocket mein dalna hai. Baad mein, when it fell in the pocket, it would stay in the pocket. So research gave you the answer. Like that, there could be 101 topics on which you can do research. You need to be, research is, I'm telling you, the most exciting part of the social sciences. Unfortunately, I'm not involved in it on a day-to-day basis. You need to think how to get your data. From where will you get your data? Who, if you need to interview, who do you need to interview? If you need to observe, who will you observe? How will you analyze your data? There are two ways of analyzing data. Just in terms of numbers, hard quantitative numbers, percentages, standard deviations, okay, percent and things like that. Or qualitative research is more to do with the social psychology, the quality of responses in terms of knowing, well, if you find out associations in people's minds. What do you think should be the personality of a Pepsi bottle? Okay, Pepsi bottle, think of it. Which animal do you think of when you think of a Pepsi bottle? Come on. Okay, which animal do you think of when you think of a Pepsi bottle? Giraffe. Okay, giraffe means what? The Pepsi bottle should be tall, right? So if you go into the psychology, I'm not going into it right now, but if you do it, what is called through projective techniques and word association, etc., you can create the structure, the packaging, the way a product needs to be put in the market. Are you following here? So, can a VI person do research? Only those many yeses. Certainly yes, but you need to be smart. At the beginning, you will have to go out into the field. Mr. Jatin Shah. Why did I mention his name? Because one of the research projects I did was evaluating the potential for Indian exporters. Okay, we took up the project and I had my field workers, field data gatherers, all sighted people. Mr. Jatin Shah came and said, Sam, I said, what? I'm also going. Now I was faced with a crisis. On one side, I'm talking about equal opportunities. On the other side, I am having a doubt, will Jatin be able to do the interviews? How did you like the silence? So I told Jatin, भागना पड़ेगा. Jatin क्या बोला? Jatin तू क्या बोला? Jatin, what did you say? I will go. He had to go and conduct interviews. How will he conduct interviews? He converted his interview schedule into Braille. And let me tell you, in the presence of all of you, the number of interviews he completed were the second highest among all the others. And field work, let me tell you, is the most dirty part of research. I hate that part. Because you have to go, yeah, there. I've done my field work when I did my PhD. I've gone around 30 plus colleges, catching students, catching people, and conducting surveys. Okay? Once the data comes in, today you have data entry operators. You don't need to enter the data also. Somebody will do it for you. Then you need to interpret. So it's perfectly possible. What do you need for becoming a researcher? Yeah. What do you need to become a researcher? Well, you need basically the desire to know something about something you don't know. If you just take the world for granted, yeah, aisa hai, usme kya? Then what will happen? Will the research virus spread in your body? No. If you want the research virus to spread in your body, you should be curious about everything. Even this tuck, tuck, tuck noise. Why was this tuck, tuck, tuck noise there? Be fidgety mentally, physically, wanting to seek answers. As a little child, you know, when we were little young, weren't we asking questions? Hey, what is up there in the sky? Were you asking such questions? Why does the bird fly and why can't I? Right? These are basic questions. You could do research projects on those. Now I'm not telling you to do research projects on those, but essentially you should be driven by, in English they say curiosity kills the cat. But you should be prepared to kill the cat. You know that cat exam, huh? So be prepared to be driven by curiosity. And a master's degree is always useful. Today graduations are good, but a master's, there are professional courses abroad with market research. But even in India, masters in the social sciences. In fact, I have regularly market research firms telling me, do you have good students to send us? And I do send people sometimes. So research is a definite opportunity. Even NGOs need research done. Even XRCVC may need research done. There is no facet of human life which is not covered by research. Okay. I'm completing this part of the presentation. Is Neha there? Yeah. And Neha will just give you a few ideas about psychology. Thereafter we can handle questions.